Sean Bailey, as the Conservative on the panel tonight, I'm going to come straight to you.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
This cannot be a stitch-up, can it? This cannot be a stitch-up. There has to be a genuine competition. It has to go to members. And, Sean, the key point is it has to involve Boris Johnson. Otherwise, I think your party could be heading to a wipeout, a generation-long wipeout.
Here's the three things I'd say. Firstly, I did point out, along with others, much as yourself, that it would be a serious act of self-harm to remove the PM. That proved to be correct. Mm-hmm. You remove a second PM, it's even more self-harm. Yep. So, and
you said that right until the end, I remember that.
Exactly. So now we need to act quickly. So the two things I'd say, if you keep the members out, you might satisfy the MSM's appetite, but you will not satisfy the party, and then fighting any general election will be hard, and then members will bully their MPs to be dissenting. Because if you cut them out, then it'll be harder to bring the party together, in short, is what I'm saying. And thirdly, we live in a democracy. Let's let people have their say. And MPs will have to realise they are not the only power within the confines of the Conservative Party. They have to trust the members, and the members have to trust them. If they lock the members out, it'll feel that MPs can't be trusted.
Dominique Samuels, we are usually in agreement on most things, but you are completely outraged at the BBB campaign. Why? He was the democratically elected Prime Minister.
Look, if you think Boris is the answer to the problem, then you don't understand the problem. The reason why we're in this mess is because of Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson started the lockdowns that ruined the economy. Boris Johnson supports net zero that's going to further ruin the economy and impoverish the average person. Boris Johnson himself is a globalist who signed up to all of the globalist agendas, such as net zero, and fueling what is looking like a long war in Ukraine. It's Boris Johnson and his allies that backed the disaster that is Liz Truss, got her into no 10, and as we've seen, she's lasted a whopping 44 days in office. And I did say that Liz Truss would be a disaster, and the magic policies that she proposed probably wouldn't be put in place, and that's just the reality of the Conservative Party at the moment. What we need, in my opinion, is a general election. The Tories have had their time now. I think that right-wing parties should come together and try and at least get some seats in Parliament.
But the thing is, and we're going to talk about that later in the show, but when it comes to the Conservative Party, Dominic, they're not going to do that, whether you think that's a good thing or not. And part of me does think we should have a general election, but that's not going to happen because it would be electoral suicide for the Conservative Party. So isn't this, Dominic, about the alternatives? And the reality is, if you speak about globalists, well, I'm sorry, if you get Sunak or Mordaunt in there, we're basically handing ourselves over to the World Economic Forum.
But really, think about it. What is the difference, though?
Well, I think Boris ran a broad church, and I think he fought back a lot harder than virtually anyone else would have, and especially when it came to lockdowns, which obviously I was opposed to from the start, and he was weak for a long time. Well, but he took us out far quicker than I think Sunak or Mordaunt or any of the alternatives would have.
I don't agree with that, and I think with this, there's some sort of collective amnesia here. It was Rishi Sunak who, from the very earliest stages of the pandemic, spoke about the economic effects of the lockdowns, and actually was extremely sceptical of them.
He wasn't against any of them.
But it was Boris Johnson.
He did speak again. He did speak about the effects. That's correct.
Well,
he never said we shouldn't have any.
But it was Boris Johnson who actually put them in place. I'm getting really sick of people acting like he's the second coming of Christ when the reason we're in this situation is because of Boris Johnson. But the point is, Dominic, also part of it is about democracy. You know, he was elected. He was elected by a majority. I don't think there is anything he did. And by the way, you know I've criticised Boris Johnson time and again on this show, but it has to be a high bar to depose a democratically elected Prime Minister, because look at what happens when you do. Yeah, look at the mess you create when you do that. And we've just seen that with Truss. So the Conservative Party, I think, if you want to go to a coalition of right-wing parties, we're going to talk about that later in the show, so we'll come back to that. I understand that. But with the first past the post electoral system that we have, it's basically the Conservative Party or bust at the moment, because if we get Starmer with Sturgeon in number 10 Downing Street, look at what's going to happen.